Welcome to part one of a three-part special we have leading up to this weekend, where we have three major sporting events happening all in the UK. Today we'll be looking at the British Grand Prix. Welcome to the sports debate.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely world. He's taken them apart.
Right guys, so this week it is the British Grand Prix, and I'll start with a fun fact. Did you know that the first ever Formula One race took place in Silverstone in 1950? So, this race it has a lot of history and it's coming back. It was due to be the last one because Silverstone actually didn't sign a new contract with F1. However, breaking news fresh off the press this morning, it was announced that Silverstone has finally signed a new contract until 2024 to host the event, meaning we're going to have at least another 5 more years of the British Grand Prix happening in Silverstone. It took so long, it took about a couple of years, I believe, because there was fears from Silverstone that with F1 planning a new London GP, a street race in Docklands, quite near me actually, that the attendance for Silverstone may drop off a bit. But yeah, they've come to terms with it, and it's great news. We've got at least another 5 more years of the Grand Prix, to go. So there could be a lot of records being broken this weekend at Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton, 5 times winner at Silverstone. He is joint record holder with number of wins with Alan Prost and also Jim Clark, who also have 5 Grand Prix victories there. If he wins it this year, this will be his 6th British Grand Prix winner's medal, let's call it. So Lewis Hamilton actually won the Grand Prix from 2014 to 2017 consecutively for 4 years. However, last year he did not win it. He did start on pole, however, but he did not win it. We'll come back to that a bit later. Another record that can be broken is if Lewis Hamilton was to get pole position, he would have the most pole positions at a home race out of any drivers of all time. He's currently tied with Ayrton Senna, who also has 6 pole positions at his home race, which is the Brazil Grand Prix. Another fun fact is that there's 10 F1 teams. 7 of them actually have their headquarters based in England. So Silverstone is a home race for many of the teams. A lot of history, a lot of prestige in this Grand Prix. It is a very fast track with drivers reaching top speeds of over 200 miles an hour. Yeah, that's a lot. The average speed across the lap is 145 mile an hour. That's an average speed per lap a driver takes. It is the second highest average speed out of the entire racing calendar, only behind Monza. The most successful team in Silverstone is actually Ferrari, who've won it 16 times. Ferrari also probably have the best car in terms of straight line speed. However, Mercedes have the greater downforce, better in the corners. So it's very hard to predict who will have the better of the time this weekend, because Silverstone, obviously there's a lot of straight line speed, but he also has a lot of fast corners that you'd expect the Mercedes with the better downforce to grip better on the track. Looking at last year's British Grand Prix, Hamilton of course started on pole. He did have a very poor start for some reason. He was overtaken by both Vettel and his teammate Bottas early on. Within the first lap, he came down to 3rd. He was then spun by Kimi Raikkonen, which left him dead last in the entire grid last year. Raikkonen received a 10-second penalty for it. So last year, obviously coming from last, he couldn't really win it, having won it 4 years consecutively prior to that. He did manage to come second. It was aided a little bit by numerous safety cars within the race. But yeah, he came second. This year, he's probably looking to break the record. He's in a great position, great form as well. Didn't have a good weekend last couple of weeks ago in Austria, but you'd expect him to bounce back and do the job here. Ferrari, of course, personally, I think it will be neck and neck with Ferrari and Mercedes, probably Verstappen in there as well. I mean, what a race he had in Austria, winning that Grand Prix. I think he was 9th into the first corner or something, and he rattled them all down. He won the Grand Prix. So yeah, for me, it'll be close between Ferrari and Mercedes, but I think Lewis Hamilton will be the star man, the the extra bit of, the star factor in the race. So I think Lewis Hamilton will take victory, but yeah, I mean, it could go either way. I think the Ferrari head chief has come out and said don't expect too much from Ferrari this weekend. I take that with a pinch of salt because, that could be, he's downplaying it when historically, Ferrari are good at these type of tracks. So in 2018, the podium was Vettel, Hamilton, and then Raikkonen. So Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari. In 2017, it was Hamilton, Bottas, Raikkonen. So Mercedes, Mercedes, Ferrari. Verstappen actually came fourth that year as well. Like with Verstappen now, I think the guy's probably one of the most talented drivers on the field. He hasn't got the best car. I'd put him on par maybe with even Lewis Hamilton in terms of talent. It's amazing what he's doing in that Red Bull, especially if you compare him to his teammate. Now in Austria, in the first lap, his teammate was ahead of him. That race ended with Verstappen finishing first, having lapped his own teammate. I find that incredible. Like, you're in the same car, how are you getting lapped? And Gasly coming into this season, there was a lot of promise, a lot of high expectations from him. It was the same as Leclerc going to Ferrari, but I mean, it's just not worked out. I don't know what's wrong with him. Is it a confidence thing? Is it simply having Max Verstappen as a partner? Maybe the pressure is too much. I don't know, but he's gonna have to start pulling out some big performances if he's going to keep his seat at Red Bull. But yeah, Max Verstappen, I wouldn't rule him out. If I had to predict the finishing order, I would have to say probably Hamilton winning the Grand Prix, followed by the two Ferraris and Bottas, with Verstappen coming fifth. But I mean, the British Grand Prix, it's known to have drama. There's high or like chances of overtakes with the long straights and the DRS detection points. So, I'm really looking forward to this Grand Prix actually. We had a real stinker in France, a really good one in Austria in terms of drama. And yeah, I'm hoping for more of the same in this season's British Grand Prix. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully Lewis can break the records. He's already, first place in the championship battle. Yeah, Lewis is already ahead in the championship battle. He is 31 points ahead of his teammate Bottas in second place and 71 points ahead of Vettel. So it is looking likely that Lewis Hamilton will win his 6th World Championship this year. In the Constructors, Mercedes are of course leading the way. They've got 363 points. Ferrari are second place with only 228. So yeah, I mean, it would be the first time ever that a single team has won the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors 6 years consecutively. That's what Mercedes are going for this year, and it started off great. The first 9 races of the season. With Britain, of course, you can never be too sure with the weather, so the rain might factor in, jumble up the order a bit. I've looked at the weather forecast. The race day itself on Sunday, it's looking good, really sunny day. On Saturday, there is a small chance of rain, however, so let's see how the qualifying goes. It might be wise to get your laps in nice and early in case the weather dramatically changes, but on race day the weather looks to be good. We'll end this episode now by looking at other news in the world of sport, and wow, have we had a shock today. New Zealand have beaten India to reach the World Cup final. Who saw that coming? I did not. So the match actually started yesterday but had to be stopped due to rain. Of course, it's England. New Zealand were on 211 for 6 with 3.5 overs remaining. They resumed it today. New Zealand finished on 239. This, of course, left India with a target of 240. I mean, everyone expected India to easily reach that target, probably with even about 10 overs remaining. But yeah, the pressure, it tells in the World Cup stage. Any other tournament, you'd expect India to rattle these off. Even if you look at it, before India had started their run chase, the win predictor, it put India at 98%. New Zealand, they only gave them 2% chance of winning. And yeah, this is why we love sport. These shocks happen. India got off to an absolute horrible start. They lost 3 wickets for 5 runs. It's also the first time ever in the history of cricket in any format that the opening 3 batsmen were all out for 1 run. It happened today with Rohit Sharma, who's been in great form. He's the top scorer of the World Cup, and he's also got 5 centuries to his name, out for 1 run. Rahul, who's his partner, he scored a century in the last game, and he's been in good form in the last couple of games as well, out for 1 run. And of course, their captain, the guy is loved by over 1 billion people in India, Virat Kohli, known as probably the greatest batsman of our time, or like currently, out for a run. 1 run. So yeah, the opening 3 batsmen didn't do much. At one point they were at 92 for 6, and it was looking quite bleak for India. They had a rally with Jadeja and Dhoni coming on. Jadeja scored a very impressive 77 runs off 59 balls. And he had a partnership of 116 runs with MS Dhoni. It looked like they would take India, over the line. But yeah, they fell. MS Dhoni fell to a great throw by Guptill, who he got run out basically with a direct hit to the stumps. It was an amazing throw. I'd check the highlights out for that if I was you. And yeah, India are out. The pre-tournament favourites alongside England. I think they're the number 1 side or number 2 side in the world. It's changed over the World Cup. I think England started off as the number 1 side, then midway India became the number 1 side in the rankings. But yeah, so we all thought that India would cruise to the victory there. Everyone was saying that New Zealand, they were a bit undeserving. I personally think, whoever gets there deserves it. But yeah, and yeah, you have New Zealand in the final now. They're either going to face Australia or England. That match is taking place tomorrow at Edgbaston in Birmingham. So I can't wait for that one. I hope England do it. It'll be the first time England reach a final since 1992. 27 years in the making. So yeah, Australia beat England in the group stage, but I think the boys got it. It's coming home, guys. Cricket's coming home. Moving on, the final big talking point in the world of sport is, of course, Wimbledon. That's happening. Also happening in England, guys. Yeah, it's a great time. It's been a great summer of sports, really. We had men's quarter-final day today. Novak Djokovic, he won in straight sets against David Goffin, and he will face Roberto Bautista Agut in the semi-final. It's his first semi-final, and you might think this is going to be a very easy victory for Djokovic. It's not, because this year alone they faced twice and Djokovic has lost both times. So this is not a mug he's facing in the semi-final. The head-to-head in their career is 7-3 in favour of Novak Djokovic. They faced 3 times in Grand Slams. They faced twice in the French Open and once in the US Open. And Djokovic has lost a set each time. He's won all of them, but he has lost a set. So he's won all 3 of those in 4 sets. I'm expecting a great match on Friday, but I stick by my prediction I made earlier. I think Djokovic will reach the final. He'll beat Roberto Bautista Agut. And yeah, he'll face either Federer or Nadal. That match has been set now for the semi-finals. Federer beat Kei Nishikori in 4 sets. He did lose the first set today. And Nadal beat Sam Querrey straight sets to set up their first Wimbledon meeting since that great final of 2008. That match is still regarded by many to be the greatest ever match in tennis history. And yeah, 11 years later, we have the next match. Nadal actually leads Federer 24-15 in the head-to-head. However, in Wimbledon, Federer leads 2-1. They faced 3 times at Wimbledon in the 2006, 2007 and 2008 finals. Federer winning the first 2, Nadal winning the last one. So I can't wait for that. To be fair with you, I made a video about it earlier in the week predicting Federer to win. I'm not sure anymore. Nadal has been playing some great stuff, and I actually think Nadal's going to win this one, even though it's on grass and Federer's, on great form. I think Nadal's going to win this one now, guys. I think we're going to have another Djokovic-Nadal final. Either way, whether it's Djokovic, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, I think it'll be a great final. I can't really call it with the second one. Now, both these semi-finals will take place on Friday. So, yeah, we've got England-Australia tomorrow, men's semi-finals on Friday, And then Sunday, we have the British Grand Prix, the Cricket World Cup final, and the Wimbledon final. What can I say? It's going to be a great day of sports. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here for you guys. Of course, the main thing was the British Grand Prix. I think Lewis Hamilton, he can do it. Even if Ferrari have the better car, which I don't think they will do. I think Hamilton's got this. We're going to see some records being broken. He'll be the first man to win 6 British Grand Prix titles, hopefully. And with that, I'll wrap it up. If you have any, suggestions, anything you liked, anything you disliked, please do leave a comment below. And if you like this episode, of course, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more future content like this. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set, and